Hi everyone, my name is Ricky Amparo and I'm an implementations engineer with Cloud Elements. Today we'll be covering the QuickBooks sunsetting of OAuth 1, their migration to OAuth 2, and what that would mean for your Cloud Elements integration. Before we begin, there are some general housekeeping items I'd like to go over. Please submit questions in the GoToWebinar console. Questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. Slides and recordings will be shared after the webinar. So first, let's go into some background information. In the interest of providing enhanced authentication security, QuickBooks will begin using OAuth 2 instead of OAuth 1. The change in OAuth will take place on December 17th. Afterwards, QuickBooks will not grant any new OAuth 1 tokens and will also revoke all existing OAuth 1 tokens. For Cloud Elements, this will mean that all QuickBooks Online Element instances authenticated via OAuth 1 will no longer be able to make authenticated API calls. To address the issue of migrating existing OAuth 1 integrations, QuickBooks has created an endpoint that can handle the process of migrating your OAuth 1 applications to OAuth 2. Capitalizing on the endpoint that QuickBooks has provided, Cloud Elements has incorporated this endpoint into our API. It's important to note that this endpoint will not be exposed in our UI and is only made available to interact with via API. Additionally, we have created a set of scripts to handle the process of migrating your OAuth 1 element instances. The first script grabs all of your element instances that need to be migrated to OAuth 2 and then returns their element tokens and instance IDs. The second script takes those tokens and IDs and makes the migration request for each of those instances and migrates them to OAuth 2. There's a bit of setup that you should be aware of before attempting this migration. QuickBooks has already provided an OAuth 2 API key for all OAuth 1 applications. This will make the migration process that much easier as you will not have to create the OAuth 2 application yourself. However, it is important that you use the OAuth 2 API key associated with the OAuth 1 application that you have authenticated your element instances with. Otherwise, the migration will not work. With all that in mind, let's go see this in action. First, you can locate both of the scripts needed to perform the migration in our Cloud Elements Open Labs repo. This is a repository containing shared resources across our developer community. Since I've already downloaded the script, I won't go through the process of downloading it from GitHub. The second thing that you should be aware of is this is where you will go to retrieve your OAuth 2 API key and secret from QuickBooks. In the interest of security, I will not go into our keys page. However, know that you can go access them and grab them from this page. Okay? Before running your script, you will have to run an npm install, which will install all dependencies for the script to run functionally. Since I've already done that, I will go ahead and skip that step. The first script is going to run through my account and grab all of the element instances that have been authenticated with OAuth 1 and return their element instance token. Now that we have this element instance token, we will have to insert it into the second script. Let's take a look at the script before we run the migration. This is the needs migrating script. You will have to provide three pieces of information: your user token, your organization token, and then the base URL of the environment that you are grabbing the element tokens from. The migration script is going to require 6 pieces of information: the element token from the previous script, both the client ID and the client secret of the OAuth 2 application from QuickBooks Online, and finally your user organization token, and then the base URL of the environment you are performing the migration in. With all that, let's go ahead and actually migrate this element instance. We have successfully migrated that instance from OAuth 1 to OAuth 2. With all that, let's head back to our presentation. Does anyone have any questions at this time?
Yes, a few questions came in through the portal. So the first question is, what are some common errors you may see?
That is a very good question. So the 2 most common errors we saw when testing the scripts are related to inactive instances and improper client ID and secrets. If you try to migrate with an inactive instance, then you will return an error. Element instances need to be active and have recently refreshed before attempting to migrate them. Secondly, you will not be able to perform the migration unless you use a client ID and secret that are related to the application that authenticated the instances in the first place.
Great. The next question is, can I hit this endpoint without using the script provided?
Yes, you can. You can find the endpoints that we're hitting directly in the script and use them at your own discretion.
Okay, and the last one is, if I'm authenticating with Heimdall, do I still need to migrate?
Yes and no. It really depends on how you're authenticating through Heimdall. So if you're authenticating through Heimdall, you have to specify an authentication type, or else you won't be able to provision the instance. Therefore, if you have been authenticating with OAuth 1 through Heimdall, you will still need to migrate those instances just the same as if you were to authenticate without Heimdall.
And it looks like those are all the questions.
Excellent. All right then. Well, thank you everyone for your time, and I hope you all have a good day.